Welcome to From the Pages, the show that rips open time like the spine of your favorite wrestling mag fresh off the newsstand. And today, we're diving into the savage, sensational, and surprisingly raw May 1990 issue of Wrestling Eye. This isn't glossy WWF polish. This is gritty, blood-on-the-mat journalism, where kayfabe gasps for air and the truth sometimes uppercuts you in the face. We open with a shot across the bow. Bold letters that promise an unfiltered journey into the state of pro wrestling. No federation bias, no sugarcoating, just war stories, scandal, and sharp opinions. Early ads tease VHS tapes of bloodbaths and bruisers, and it sets the tone. This issue isn't here to promote, it's here to provoke. The kind of issue you'd stash under your mattress if your mom thought wrestling was too violent. It's dangerous, it's unregulated, and it's impossible to look away. By page 3, we're in it. The pulse of the business is laid bare. WWF's national dominance, NWA's identity crisis, and the AWA's slide into near oblivion. But the spotlight swings hard to Japan, where the great Muda is described with reverence usually reserved for legends. Misspewing, high-flying, and brutally crisp in execution, Muda gets the kind of feature that screams superstar, even to American eyes. He isn't just over, he's interdimensional. He exists in a space between reality and nightmare, a wrestler and a specter. The editorial voice pulls no punches. Vince McMahon is described as both a genius and a tyrant. Hulk Hogan is dissected, not just as a champion, but as a cultural force, a man whose name alone moves merchandise. But is he holding the business back? That's the real question laced between the praise. The magazine dares to suggest that Hogan's time may be passing. A whisper of heresy in an era where red and yellow still ruled the merch stands. And in those whispers you hear the rumble of something new, something realer, something hungry. Tully Blanchard takes the mic for a guest column and delivers. He's bitter, he's brilliant. He talks about integrity, about being pushed out, about the politics of tag teams and the stain of betrayal. You don't read this section, you feel it like a knee to the ribs. He calls out fake friends, lost respect, and the business chewing up another soul who thought he had it figured out. It's a raw confessional promo in print, dripping with the weight of grudges and regret. Then comes Flair versus Lex Luger, a main event feud that's analyzed like a chess match with steroids. Flair, the ring general. Luger, the muscle-bound contender with something to prove. The magazine peels back the psychology, the crowd reactions, the backstage whispers. It's smart. It's bold. It's the kind of coverage that treats wrestling like theater and sport in equal measure. The kind of breakdown that makes you pause and realize how real the stakes feel, even in the land of scripted outcomes. This is not a fairy tale. This is a Cold War wrapped in headlocks. Mixed in are raw ads for bootleg tape trading services, fan clubs, and backyard promotions. There's a pulse here. The underground scene where diehards trade grainy footage of blood-soaked cage matches and barbed wire brawls like currency. It's not about five-star classics. It's about 5-minute beatdowns that leave you with scars and stories. This is where the heart of wrestling lives. Not in corporate offices, but in garages, VCR decks, and handwritten newsletters. In the later pages, we hit Jake the Snake Roberts in a rare spotlight. There's no Damien gimmick here, just Jake the man. The mind games, the slow burn promos, the eyes that seem to know more than they say. He's positioned as a thinking man's villain in a sea of screaming neon. Roberts is the guy who doesn't shout, he whispers. And that whisper chills the crowd more than a dozen war cries ever could. He's the shadow at the edge of the spotlight. The fear behind the pop, the psychology before the punch. And finally, we land on Tommy Pritchard. Not just a profile, but a declaration. The Golden Lion is portrayed as the next breakout, a regional phenom with national ambitions. Grit, charisma, and a mean streak a mile wide. You can almost feel the indie sweat dripping off the page. The kind of guy who earns respect by bleeding for it. The kind of talent that doesn't beg for attention. He demands it with every suplex. There's a fan club column, mailbag rants, and a sobering look at what it takes to survive in the business. The message is clear. This isn't a game. It's a grind, a lifestyle, a war. You don't just walk into the ring, you crawl out of it, and every wrestler on these pages knows it. For every main eventer you see on TV, there are 100 journeymen hustling for scraps, sleeping in cars, and praying for a booking. Wrestling Eye May 1990 is a jagged punk rock snapshot of the wrestling world before corporate makeovers and pyrotechnic distractions, its voices from the fringe shouting into the void. And now, decades later, we hear them loud and clear. The paper may have yellowed, but the stories are still electric. The bruises are still purple. And the passion is still red hot. So lace up those high tops, rewind your Coliseum videotape, and grab a Slim Jim from the corner store. Because from the pages just ripped open another classic. Like, comment, subscribe. This is your passport to the forgotten, the feral, and the fiercely real. And brother, we're only getting warmed up. Next issue, it might just melt your face off.